Okay, welcome everybody. We are going to make this super quick and fast, 30 minutes or less. I'm so happy to see Esther, Patty, Annie, Morgan, Boone Morgan, Kristen, Dawn, Katie, and April. Yay! And hopefully more. And if not, we hope you watch the replay. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I still don't know who asked us to do this. I don't know if it was Annie or Patty, but how to keep your team like engaged and interested and productive. So I kind of thought, okay, well, what have I done that has worked? And so I kind of did that. And then I also took some notes off the training center because I usually go there first to see if anybody's done a video or just written about it. So one of the things that I thought was really cool was the first thing that I wrote, I'm gonna turn on my fan here, was discover what your team members want. Or let's say you have a new team member. You want to talk to them and say, what do you want from this business? And what do you want from me as a leader? Because I want to make sure that I'm tailoring my training to the individual, because we all learn differently. We all absorb things differently. We all need different things in different ways. And so you first need to discover what your team members want. And if that is you reaching out to each of them individually and connecting with them, phone call, text, email, whatever, and just discovering what their why is. Why did they sign up? What's their intention? Is it to build a team? Is it to join this awesome culture and community that we have? Is it to make friends? Is it to get out of the house, COVID withstanding? Is it just to get the products for themselves, or what we call hobbyists? All of those are equally important, but for you as a leader, in order for you to be able to be there for them, support them, motivate them, how much time you spend on them and with them is all dependent on what they want and what their why is. And in a sense, kind of like what, I'm sorry, I'm my father-in-law, they were just here, and I guess like an hour ago, he was choking on some food and they took him to the hospital, but he's okay. Okay, sorry, I was just getting an update. Sorry about that. Anyway, and because the rule that I've always heard of is you spend your time on those who deserve it and not demand it. So you also as a leader need to know your boundaries and kind of your time, your office time. And you need to let those team members know what you're willing to do, what time, how much. So it really is all about communication with your team members that you've had for years or new team members of what do they want? What do they want out of this business? And what do they want out of you as their leader? So it's really important to discover their why so that you can kind of guide your training and them depending on their why. Obviously, it is so important. There's a lot of stats out there, and if any of you, veterans know this, that they have stats out on those who reach sensational start level, like 1 or 2, or they do the shooting star. They are more likely to stick with this business and actually make something of it. There is a stat out there, like a percentage. So it is super important to really stay close with your new consultants in their first 70 days, because that's the time frame for the sensational start. And that's another reason why you want to stay closely connected with them at the very beginning, so that if they're not aware of these brand new, as soon as you join, since he already has these incentives for you, you want to let them know those things to get them off to that jump start, especially if you can tell that they're really like a go-getter. Lay out those goals to them and say, hey, here's what Sensi has. And if you have goals for them, or you've got like an incentive or something, because I know there's an incentive going on right now, you can offer them something that maybe you do, but it has to be between you and the new consultant. You can't publicly post that if you have any sort of a join special. But you know, get them off to those goals as soon as they join. So really, like I said, communication is key in keeping up with them and saying, hey, you're 1 week in, how are you doing? Are you getting those parties booked? Anyway, and so you want to stay in close communication with them during their first 70 days, because if they reach certain milestones, they're more likely to just keep going on and on and on and be super successful. So the next thing is you want to keep them informed about pretty much everything. So like I said, I kind of tried to think about, okay, what are some of the things that I have done or I'm doing right now? And I really think it's important to keep people informed, because we don't know if they're checking the news tab, if they're on Facebook. We don't know that. And so it's super important, even if it is copy and paste or screenshot and share with your team, your new consultants, anything that's coming up, you know, any like this spring incentive or this, what are they calling it? Like Active in April 2.0, like anything that Scentsy comes out with, you want to pass that down the line, because we don't know if they're checking the news tab. So anything I see on Facebook, I screenshot it and then I just send it to you guys. So it's super important to just keep your teams informed about everything that's going on. World tour, any kind of meetings, reunion, the Scent and Warmer of the Month, anything new, like the new mini warmer collection, the Mother's Day collection, the Easter collection that came out, all the LTOs. There's so many things that Scentsy is constantly coming out with that, yes, we have to stay on top of. But for the most part, you can get a lot of that information, either screenshot from Facebook, screenshot from the workstation, even just posting and saying, hey, check the news tab. That way you are showing them where to go instead of doing it all for them, because ultimately we want our team members to be independent. We want them to know where to go to get the information. So even if it's just a quick post, hey, check the news tab, we got some cool stuff coming out, and you can just leave it at that, so that they're incentivized to then go to the news tab themselves and get used to doing that, because that should be a habit that we all are doing, especially nowadays where Scentsy is like new announcements, new incentives, new products, you know, it's insane. So it is a good habit to check the news tab, or just honestly, if it's easier and quicker for you to just check Facebook, like our team page, as soon as I see things, I try my hardest to just hurry and quickly post. And if not, I know somebody else will. So, and then another thing is to be enthusiastic. I mean, we're all super excited with Scentsy. We're excited with all the new products, the LTOs, reunion, and everything that's coming up. You want to pass that on to your team, your enthusiasm. Now, with that also is a fine line where you can be enthusiastic when things are going great, but you want to be authentic and transparent maybe when things aren't so great. Case in point, all of these lovely LTOs that keep selling out. There's some things in the works. I'm sure, you know, Scentsy Corporate, they know they are not doing this. They are not causing us this angst on purpose. They first and foremost want you guys to know that they are coming from a good place. And a lot of it is, I think we all need to learn and understand what LTOs are for. LTOs are not for you to build your business on. They are the icing on the cake. Do not build your business on LTOs. In fact, Heidi, actually, I think Heidi and Orville do an end of month live. And Heidi even said, do not do pre-orders. You're setting yourself up for anxiety, frustration, disappointment, angry customers. Just don't even do pre-orders. I've never done pre-orders. I've never had angry customers. So I I haven't experienced what a lot of maybe you guys have. So in the future, don't base your business on LTOs and don't do pre-orders. You're going to save yourself so much. And I know that for some people, they're like, well, this is how I get my large PRV. Totally get that. But how many times have those consultants actually been able to get all, let's say 10 warmers for their customers that the customers have already paid them the money, and now they're going to have to pay back maybe 9 of them because they could only get 1. To me, it's not worth it. Like I said, Scentsy's working, I don't know, but Scentsy's working on some things to help us even more with these LTOs. Sorry, I digress on LTOs. But
well, I'm going to chime in just for a second. I won't stay long. Fine. But I think some people have the mindset that can handle that disappointment. Mm-hmm. And if you prepare your customers can handle that disappointment. Yep. I take pre-orders every time, and I've only been unsuccessful with Yoda, and it was actually my biggest haul. I think I had 12 Yodas and I did not get any of the 12 Yodas. None of my customers were pissed off because they all knew exactly. I totally set it up that I might not get this. And then I told them, totally disappointed I wasn't able to come through for you. Look for your refund on PayPal or Venmo, wherever you sent it to me. And if you're interested, we have a pre-order coming for June. About 5 or 6 of them took the pre-order for June. So I think as long as you are not the kind of person who's going to get pissed off and angry, or have customers going to be pissed off and angry, it's okay. You just have to know yourself and your customers.
Totally.
Right?
And I think that's perfect. As long as you are authentic and transparent with your customers that, hey, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
But I don't have a better way than you do. I mean, we all have to get on the computer, get in a queue, and just hope and pray that they're still in my cart at the end. Like, as long as you prepare your customers and you do say, hey, there's a chance that they're going to do a pre-order, because once again, Scentsy doesn't have to do that. They're doing it because they love us and they want us to be successful, but they truly don't need to do the second chance. They do it because, well, they're awesome. So, when things aren't good and maybe people are struggling, or it's just like kind of one of those ebbs and flows in the industry, you don't have to fake it just so that your team thinks everything is okay. There's a time to be mad or sad, or, hey guys, let's figure something out. Sales are down this month. What's going on so that we can fix it? And so there's a time to be enthusiastic about great things, but then you also need to, as a leader, be honest and we're all human. We all have emotions, especially women. And you not only be enthusiastic, but you need to be yourself and authentic and transparent and just say, guys, stuff sucks right now, and that's okay, but let's not sit in it. Let's work on it and make it better. Another thing to keep your team team engaged is find out kind of like what moves them, what gets your team excited. Is it challenges? Is it you going live and doing shout outs twice a month? Is it getting a postcard? Is it, some people like Phyllis, she couldn't care less if I send her stuff in the mail. She's like, save your shipping costs. And I'm like, suck it, just deal with it, because that's what I do. That is my love language to people, are gifts and acknowledgement and kind of just that positive reinforcement. And so that's what I do. And sorry if you guys get a bazillion postcards, but that's one thing that I love to do as a leader. It's how I can stay consistent and how I can reward you guys for all of your hard work. So challenges, incentives, gifts, different things like that. See if that kind of motivates and engages your team if you do a monthly challenge. And it can even be like, because obviously you do want to challenge your hobbyists. And so you don't, oh, thank you, Pat. So you don't want to ignore, you don't want to just always do the tippy top of your team. And so, I mean, with that being said, I do postcards for everybody that does 200 and up, but our Facebook post would be this long if I shouted out the $200. So I start that at 500. If needs be, I'm more than happy to go down to the 200 and shout them out if that is going to inspire people. But my hope is that people will want to see their name on our shout outs. So they're going to be inspired to do the 500 because they're like, well, you know, if I do 500, I'm going to see my name. Or if it's my anniversary or a rank advancement or something, that speaks to me, and that gets me fired up. So I'm going to work hard to do 500 so that my name is on there. So
hey, Alexis.
Yeah.
So along with this, something that I have started doing, so this year I've kind of revamped things. And first I want to say, just because we're digging into this, I want to say to the girls that I have here that are newer, we're talking about teams and keeping them engaged. And I know that may sound like it doesn't apply to y'all, but you will build a team and it will apply. So it's good to learn this information early on. So although you may feel like I just joined and I don't know what this is about, just kind of hang on, you'll get it. But what I was going to say is, you know, you're talking about just shouting out the top. And I had a girl this last month, and I sent a postcard to her, not because she was top sales or she was top recruiter or anything like that, but because she stepped outside her comfort zone. I did a Lead to Lead program last month with my team. And, you know, the girls that I had left, she really stepped outside of her comfort zone. And so it wasn't that she was the greatest of all of them, but acknowledging what she did, because I know how much that took for her. And so I think that's important to some people to know that, you know what, somebody else notices what I'm doing and that it took courage to do that. And so it may not be that much, but you know, there's little things, because all I did was send a little postcard. I don't know if you know those postcards in the store, like there was the Firefly Award.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so I sent that to her, you know? And so just little things like that, I think sometimes can really brighten somebody's day, to let them know, you know what, somebody noticed that I really tried. I'm going to do that again.
Well, and that's part of being a team is that sense of belonging, that sense of community of, because let's be honest, I think some of us don't get that very often in our roles, whatever your role is, wife, mother, I know April's a teacher, like just whatever hats we put on during the day. A lot of the times it does go unnoticed. So for me, I'm like, you know, as kids, you get praised and yay. And then that kind of doesn't happen as much as we get older. So to me, I love, you know, commenting or liking or whatever people's posts, because I'm like, they took the effort to do that. And, you know, like you said, taking that comfort out of your comfort zone step, like that's huge. And I feel like when you recognize that, they're more apt to do it again, because they're like, oh, I did it and I didn't die. And I got a cool postcard. So I now have the confidence that I can do it again. And that's the other thing, is building confidence in your team it's everything, because otherwise somebody might not have the confidence to do it. We don't know everybody's situations.
And we need to reward the behaviors we want to see repeated. Everywhere I've turned lately, I've seen that. And so I've started doing it with my customers. You know, I send a bigger package of monthly mail out to my Cincy Club customers because I want to repeat that behavior. My team members, same thing. And so we need to start rewarding the behaviors we want repeated, because that's what's going to get results.
Yep.
Does anybody have any experience with incentives for your team? Because a couple years ago, I had done a couple, and it was really just like the same 4 or 5 girls participating. It really didn't inspire the rest of the team like I had hoped it would. So I kind of stopped. And I don't know if I dropped the ball too soon, or does anybody have any good experience with team incentives?
So what was your incentive?
I think I did gift cards or something.
Like what did they have to do to get it?
I think I did it. I think I gave them tickets, and it was a drawing for like, you got so many tickets for so much PRV. You got so many tickets for recruits. I don't remember. It was literally 2 years ago. I just remember it not going well. And then me trying it a second time a few months later, and it was the same girls. And I'm like, this didn't really inspire anybody except for the same 4 or 5 people who are always active anyways. So it wasn't.
You always just try a completely different incentive, because maybe that one, for me, just as a leader, I don't know if I would do that type of incentive with tickets, because that's too much for me to have to keep track of. And maybe it's they kind of look at the reward and go, okay, I've got to let her know once I reach this, so I get a ticket, and how many tickets do I have? And then what are my odds of winning if she's got 4? To me, I would simplify it. I wouldn't do tickets. And there's like so many incentives that you can do where it's like, boost your PRV double what it was last month, and make them accountable. Like, of course, you're going to see their numbers when you do reports.
Yeah. I didn't make anybody report to me because I could see their stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, there's tons of different incentives you can do. It can, like, oh my gosh, I know, but
do they get results is what I'm asking. Like, I know there's a million of them, but.
So April, my experience when I've done incentives where they would earn levels, or I did one time, you get so many entries for this and you get so many entries for that. It sounded great in theory. And I did that a couple of times. What happened was, when other people would see, consultant A sees that consultant B has 5 more tickets than they do, then all of a sudden they're like, well, I can't catch up, so I might as well just quit. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, the reason you're seeing those same 4 or 5 people is because those are your competitors. Those are your ones that thrive with competing against someone. And so you're going to see those same 3 or 4, because the others are going to go, well, these people are already going to win, so there's no point in me doing anything. And so my best results has been whenever I individually will message, and it gets kind of hectic because as your teams get larger, it's more, but I will individually message. Sometimes I'll go for the people, the rest of the team may not know that I have this going on. It'll be 4 or 5 people, and I'll say, I'm doing an incentive for you to double your PRV over last April's PRV. Or if you get active this month, it'll be your 2nd month in a row, and you haven't done that since whenever it was, and I'm going to reward that. What is it going to take for you to do that? How can I help you? And work one-on-one with those people to see.
And what would you give? Like, what would be like?
So you put a dollar limit on it. I like to ask them, what is it that you need for your business? Tell me some things you need for your business. I did that
one time before. I gave them a new set of testers. It was around transition time. And I liked that because
I've done that
into your business.
But sometimes, I had a girl one time that said, you know what? I do an event and I would really like to get electricity, but it's $25. And I paid for her electricity.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So if you will get a list and keep maybe a notebook of what people need for their business, what would help your business? Would a $5 gift certificate to a spa day, which is not going to pay for a spa day, obviously, but you want to get your nails done. What if I sent you a $5 gift certificate towards your nails? Because that gave them time away from their kids. It may not have been for their business, but it was for their mental clarity. So you just got to find what is it that consultant is needing that's going to make them better all around. Are they having trouble getting catalogs? Are they having trouble getting testers? Kind of meet them where they are and find out, I like to go with the ones on the bottom and see what they need and see if I can't build them up. Can I get you active? Okay, you did 2 months. Let's see what you can do for 3, And so just kind of different incentives for different people on your team, and maybe not a whole team effort, because you're going to have those ones that are always going to be running the race because you gave them a challenge.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
thank you.
Yes, thank you. That was really good. Like I talked about earlier, I think a lot of it is there's a trust, not issue, but there's a huge trust there that you need to have with your team and that they need to have with you. That you're going to be honest with them. You are going to follow through with what you say you're going to do. And with that trust, I think also there is, oh my goodness, Phyllis is here. Oh, that makes my heart happy. Okay. You want to create whatever kind of culture you want to for your team, even if it's just one person. For me, I want it to be fun and enjoyable and open. And like, to me, this sounds kind of juvenile, but I want it to be a safe place. Like, I want people to know that they're not going to be judged. They can ask any question and it's not stupid. You can say, hey, I'm struggling. Can somebody help me with such and such and such? Like, I absolutely loved it, Patty, when you commented and you said, hey, I'm having, okay, and I'm totally having, sorry, I'm so distracted. I'm so sorry. Where you were like, hey, I'm struggling, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but you asked for help, and that's hard. That is a hard thing to do, because you want to put out this air that you're successful and you know everything, and I'm super awesome, and I don't ever need any help, and I'm never going to ask anybody for anything. And immediately, April, I think you were the one that answered. I'm trying to remember what it was, and I'm so sorry I'm dropping the ball. But Patty, you had asked something like, hey, can anybody help me with this? And then April came on, and you, anyway, I love to see that happen, because that's life. We all need each other's help. And the fact that you were open and like authentic enough to actually ask for that and say, guys, I'm struggling in this area. Somebody please help me. 5 people are going to be on it in like a minute. So for me, I just love that unity and the safe environment where everybody is welcome. Even people that aren't on our team or our group are welcome in, and you can ask for help. You can be who you are, and you can be authentic. You can be your ugly mess, and that's okay, because we love you just for being here. And so you definitely want to create whatever kind of atmosphere and culture. You definitely want to check in with everybody. You want to create actual like friendships with your team so that you can actually be their friend. Because that's what this company is about. It's creating those real authentic connections. And the only way you can create authentic connections is to be authentic yourself and to be vulnerable and to say, I'm not perfect. This is me. This is who I am, but I want to connect with you. And that allows them to go, oh, so you don't wear a bra all day either? Great. Neither do I. Exactly. Phyllis is over there like, heck no, man. Amen. Amen. There you go. There you go. And so, and that, I mean, look, everybody's like laughing. Like I love this. Like, it's just building each other up, and just, we all need more friends. And the fact that we can all sit and gab about Scentsy and we all love it and we're passionate about it, that just brings us closer together. Along with checking in with them, it's not just checking in to be like, crap, I'm like $250 away from my GW via blah, blah, blah. I'm going to see if they have any orders. It's like actually really investing in them, because let's be honest, you're going to financially benefit from them. And I hate talking about that, but it's a real thing. And so you want to make it actually like about them. You want to invest in them as the person, not just your downline, because they are a real person. They've got issues. They've got stuff going on. and like I said, we all need friends. We all need people to check in on us and to ask if we are okay, and to actually be friends and say, hey, let's go to coffee. Let's go to lunch, you know, like, you're really cool. I like you. Let's go hang out, you know? And then another thing is, and I just added these things right before the call, but show them both either in a video or a post on Facebook, what are some things that are working really well for you right now? What do you feel like you are excelling at that are easily duplicatable, which hopefully is everything that we're doing should be easily duplicatable. So, it might be, hey, I kind of feel like I'm rocking my scent sampler right now. So I'm going to do a video and I want to share with you guys like how I made these and the success stories that I've had from them. hey, I did cute little Easter things for 12 of my local customers. And my daughter even said, Mom, why are you giving Lindsay one of those? And she hasn't even ordered anything from you. And I said, it's because she hasn't ordered anything from me. And lo and behold, she ordered stuff from me. So, you know, it's what is working good for you should be shared with everybody so that everybody can benefit from something that you're really confident in, that you feel comfortable teaching, and you want to show everybody else, hey, these dish soap samples, like I just cut these up, but I got this idea from somebody else. These are those like Swedish dish towels or something like that. And you kind of like have to keep them like in a baggie, otherwise they dry up, but they come a little bit wet, which is really weird and gross. But I am going to do, I saw on another page that somebody was doing these along with this like cool little baggie. Sorry, I'm trying to remember where I put them. I don't even remember where I put anything these days. Anyway, it's like a little teeny tiny like squeeze bottle, and these like, so I am always copying and pasting, and I'm always going on Facebook to see what things that I feel like I can do, and then I can pass along to you guys. So show your team what's working for you to give them new ideas, and then to engage them. If you live like close to some of your team, and however you feel about COVID, whatever, wear masks, whatever, say, hey, we're going to do a sample night at my house, because that is engaging your team and it's getting them to do things that are going to help their business. And then also going along with that, you definitely want to connect your team members with either other team members that might even live next to them, or places on Facebook that they can go. Like, hey, I'm going to share with you guys every single Facebook page I'm on that gives me great ideas, because I want you to get those great ideas too. And maybe some of the ideas that I don't necessarily feel like that's my jam, you might love that idea. So that's why in the unit section, yeah, I think I posted screenshots of every single Facebook group I'm a part of that is open to all consultants of whatever rank. To me, I'm kind of like, this is so awesome. Why do I want to keep it to myself? And I feel like if they're engaged on social media with these Facebook groups, it's going to get them thinking Scentsy, which in turn will get them to do Scentsy. And I always say, do something at least once a day for your business, whether that is filling out postcards, making samples, connecting on Messenger, text, email, phone with your customers and your team members. Just do something once a day. Do a 30-minute power 30 minutes, or a power hour, and do something for your team, your customers, yourself, but just make it, you know, like a business thing, because I feel like some days I just don't even want to think about Scentsy. I'm like, you know what, just not today, not today. And then I just kind of feel crappy, because I'm like, but I tell everybody that they need to do something Scentsy once a day. So knowing that I have that kind of like responsibility and kind of like that guilt, I'm like, oh no, got to get off my butt. I'm going to put some stuff together, and I'm going to see if anybody wants a cute little sample pack, and then I'll go deliver it to their house. Because I tell you, y'all, samples sell. Samples will bring the orders. Trust me on that. But yeah, that's kind of like all I had. I tried to make it like super short. And I don't know who iPhone is. I don't know if that is Dawn. I don't know. It just says iPhone. So I don't know who you are. Okay, that's it. Cool. I don't know if you guys have anything to add, or if anybody has any questions or anything, because I really wanted this to be like super short, but packed with information. So I don't know.
Any questions?
You know, I can always run my mouth. I mean, power. So one thing that I have tried to do for my team, and I'll be honest and say that I don't get a ton of participation, but that's because it's not a scheduled thing, is when I know that I'm going to sit down and do my power hour or my power 4 hours, or however long it's going to be, I will send them a Zoom link and say, hey, I'm working. If you want to pop in, pop in. Sometimes they do. Most of the time it doesn't work, because I work a lot, but I work in weird chunks. So it's not a scheduled thing. But occasionally somebody will pop in and say, hey, I'm sitting here doing this. What are you doing? It's a little bit of chat opportunity there. Things that are working really well for me right now is, well, I just got my mailers done. Hang on. I should be able to turn my phone around, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be non-tech savvy. My little postcards, set you up a template, make your little, whatever your branding is, and then mail merge in, and then just warmer of the month, end of the month, and I put my stickers on them. I went to that. This year is my goal is to get my postage down. After I did my taxes, my postage was 22% of my paycheck last year. So I decided that was far too, now I got great gains off of that, but I decided that that was too much. So I have decided that I'm going to keep up the high postage costs for my new people, but for my returning customers, after they've returned twice, they're going to postcards. That will help me out tremendously. But I need to turn this around. I've never turned around in Zoom. Turn around. Okay, you're in my laundry room / Scentsy office. The things that I'm getting great gains off of is making brand new customers, because most of my customers are PWS and I do not know them, is the very first impression that they get from me is like super, super generous. This came from the book, Never Lose Another Customer. So I make big clean samples, body spray samples, counter clean samples. I don't want to show you how messy my laundry room is because it's my / office. I make nice laundry samples. Yes, I know I can buy them, but there's limited scents. And I like to put my spin on things, and soap samples, and then of course the body samples from the store. And then in my fresh, they get a little bit smaller because it's just cheaper to mail that way, weight wise. But hang on. Anyway, that's what I have been doing that has given me a ton of return, is spoiling the heck out of somebody brand new, following up with them via project broadcasting text. Doesn't have to be PB, it can be text, but text has been a game changer for me, getting to know random strangers on the internet versus email. And then just, I have my series set up so it's automated follow-up, but then after they've bought again, they get moved to a different follow-up series that's a little bit more personal. And then after the second time they bought, they get moved to a third one that's totally personalized. And I'd have to explain that in a different way, but I need to stop talking now. But those are the biggest things that have helped me sell more, is extremely generous samples, first time buyer, and then they scale back as we go. But the lowest thing anybody's ever going to get is a scent circle. And that's where my host rewards go to. So I hope that was helpful and not too time consuming. And I'm going shh again.
Oh, Phyllis, I love you. I talked about you earlier and how you keep telling me not to send you stuff, and I just keep telling you to suck it up, Buttercup. Sorry. All right, anybody else before I turn off the recording? Katie and Esther, and Dawn, this was your first time on the call. And even though I can't see either one of you, which breaks my heart, hint, hint, it was fun seeing your name. There's Esther.
Sorry, I got out of the shower and popped on real quick.
You're fine. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? I mean, I hate to call out you guys being like first timers, but do you guys have any questions for any of us?
I have a lot of questions, and Dawn's been very patient and great, and she'll answer 2 or 3, and I'll send her 5 more questions, you know. But, you know, going back to what you were saying about, you know, how we, even though I don't have a team, but, you know, Dawn sent me a birthday card, and I was like, okay, cool. But the best thing she sent me was the welcome package. I was so excited. I got with my daughter. I said, oh my gosh, look, I want to do this sample, and I want to do this sample, and I want to learn how to do this. So even though, you know, everybody has maybe mixed opinions or whatever about getting things from the mail, you know, I love it. You know, to me, it's like, I matter. You took the time. I'm important to you. And, you know, we're a team.
That's awesome.
I second that.
Anybody else before we sign off?
I want to show you these samples real fast.
Okay.
So I found these, and I think it was on the What Did You Share group maybe. But this little package, do you see this?
Oh, I love those. Love them.
Okay, so I've been making dish soap samples with them. And they mail in an envelope.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so I don't know if you have that little phobia where you don't like holy things, this probably isn't for you, but but I've been sending these and my customers are loving them.
I'm getting no return from that. So I'm happy. My customers are thanking me, but I have gotten not one single order from it yet.
Well, I haven't gotten an order necessarily, but they're loving them.
Yeah. They like to be spoiled like that.
I did just start doing this because
Same.
this year I did two things. I hired an assistant for Scentsy and I hired a housekeeper. So that doesn't make me privileged with all the things that are going on in the news media with that girl. That does not make me privileged. It just means I was busy. But anyway.
I'm literally cleaning for the housekeeper to come tomorrow. That's why I'm walking around so much.
Well, I did hire my assistant, and so we've gotten all the sample things done. So Phyllis, I was glad to see your samples because that gave me some more ideas because I've been questioning, do I do the bigger samples or not? And now I'm like, yes, go for it.
Okay, so along with these sponges, and if you guys want, I will copy and paste and put in the file section some of like the links if anybody is interested. And you can cut these up to whatever size. It was like flat and I folded it in half, cut it, and then folded each one in half and cut it. So they're just like little squares. But same thing as April, I make these with like the holographic on the back. And I just did the labels on Avery, super easy, squeeze the day, all purpose cleaner. I mean, I get so many sales.
Well, here's what I'm hearing right now. I'm hearing our next topic should maybe be samples.
For sure.
What do you think, people?
This is
anybody want to dive in deeper to that? New people especially, like Esther, Katie, Holly, like Holly.
Which Holly?
No, that's not her other Holly. That's not Holly because the name is spelled different, right?
Holly, show us your beautiful face so we know who you are.
I have a question about samples really quick. So I do make a lot of samples, but what I find I do is I just like whenever somebody has an order, I'll end up just throwing some samples in their bag and then I'll just take it to their house and everything. And what I find I'm running into, the problem is I forget what samples I gave them in order to follow up with them. And so do you guys keep like an Excel spreadsheet of what samples you like send to each customer, or how do you follow up and figure out like what you sent them? Because I'm always just throwing samples in the bag like candy, but then I'm like, okay, who got what? So it's like the follow up. I'm just always like, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I do keep a spreadsheet. I was going to show it to you really quick.
Okay.
And I don't, because I just figure I'm mixing it up enough that like they'll let me know, because I mean I label everything with the fragrance, and so usually they'll be like, okay, you gave me this purpose cleaner, I need one. So I mean I just don't run into that situation where I have to keep track of that, but maybe I should.
I will say it's a time suck, but I'm going to show you this, and the reason that I do it is because when I do send out text messages, I like to put in there of exactly what they got. Maybe not like if they get 3 things, I don't say that. I was like, what do you think of that? So whatever they order, I try and send them something that's similar, either similar scent, similar product, something to make a connection. And I like to be able to say, what did you think of that sheer leather scent circle if they ordered weathered leather? Because then sheer leather leads me into, okay, they kind of like floral stuff. So I'm just going to show you this really quick. saying that it's genius in any way, shape, or form. This is my spreadsheet. So if I were to go, I mean, I try and keep all kinds of data. So that's the date they purchased, their name, their address, their email address, their phone number, how much money they spent in their order, what did they order, and then what I sent them right here, and the date that I sent it. Now, like I said, it is a time thing. It's my personal assistant that does all of that for me. And it's really just taking stuff, just copying and pasting from the workstation. But the reason that I do that is because how many times have I needed somebody's address or phone number right then, and the workstation's in the queue to launch something? Or it's, you know, they texted me, hey, I love this spray that you sent me, but the label came off, or I threw it away, or whatever. What was it? I want some more. Okay, well, I can go comb through the workstation, or I can comb through my data. And my data is all in one place versus contacts tab versus order tab, you know, all of that stuff. So while it may be a time suck, it may not be smart. I'm not saying that it is. I like having all of my stuff in one place. I like control. I like control of my data. And another thing I found too is whiff boxes or Scentsy Club orders, like a whiff box in a Scentsy Club order. It does not, if you go to the workstation and you double click on last purchase date, those show up as 1/1/1900. So you can miss people if you're going straight from the workstation by using the last column. So that's another reason why I like to keep it in there. I like to know the exact dates of things, and it's just the way my brain works. So is it the right thing? I don't know. I know, like Alexis is saying, she doesn't. I think something, somebody said, I think it might've been Dawn. It might've been Spice Dawn, which I dearly love her. I think she said something one time about, she does not record her samples. She just throws stuff in the bag. And when they contact her and say, what was that? She's like, oh, heck, I don't know. What color was it? Or what did it smell like? And then I upsell them into more things. Yeah. Everybody's going to have their own.
She said she invites them for a sniffing session too. Yeah. Like, oh, what does it smell like? Well, here's my testers. You can smell and see what you like. And she says that usually leads to an upsell.
And she's also a huge in-person business. Now, I am an online business, so I am a data-driven nerd. So maybe that's why it works well for me, and it might not work well for somebody that's an in-person business.
And so that leads me into saying I'm an event-driven business, and it works for me because Katie, that's on here tonight, I met her at an event. I gain my new people and my customers mainly from events, and then spinning off of those customers to get new customers. So because of that, I do a monthly mail out. I call it my Sample of the Month Club. Free for 3 months after they make a purchase. I send them free samples in the mail. And if they like that, they keep purchasing. So they keep getting those samples. Yeah. And so I keep a spreadsheet that has their name, address, that kind of information. And then it tells me each month what I sent to all of those customers. Because when you're sending 150, 200 a month out, you need to know what you sent them, because as the months progress, it gets confusing.
Alexis, I don't know if you want a time check, but you're coming up on an hour here.
Yeah.
This will be the say. You also can't calculate your ROI if you don't know what you sent, when you sent it, and compare it to their next purchase. So you can send out 150 postcards like I'm going to do tomorrow, and that's going to cost me whatever it's going to cost me with paper and ink and all that in there. It's probably going to be close to about $80. Am I going to make that $80 back? The only way I would know without tracking everything is if they all buy the scent of the month or the warmer of the month, because that's what I was advertising. But if they order other stuff, I need to be able to see why did they order that? Oh, because 2 months ago, I sent them this sample and they just finally ordered again. So that's how I track my return of investment on my postage. That's how I decided 22% postage was too high. I needed to come back down to 15. So it's kind of a numbers. But I
think everybody's postage was high during COVID though, because I think a lot of people, I know I did way more mailing during COVID.
Yep.
So my 2020 looked pretty ugly as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me go ahead and stop the recording. We can still chat as long as you guys want to, but I will go ahead and stop.